Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode.
Today we're going to be talking about stress and health.
That's a huge one.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things to do about stress, and people are starting to understand that there is a connection between stress and health. But I remember talking to a friend, and I was saying like how I was experiencing some health challenges, and I attributed it to stress, and they kind of like discounted it because I'm like, it really is, because we live in such a hustle culture where it's like when you're working hard, that's great, and efficiency and production and go is basically I sleep when I die kind of culture. But really, stress is one of the things that is a huge problem today.
Oh, definitely. And I notice things about myself, and it's one of those things that unless you've gone through it and like you've actually had a chance to have that break, like taking that intentional time to rest and just shelve like whatever projects you're working on or take a vacation, like unless you've done those things, it's hard to tell when you're in that high stress moments.
Yeah. And it definitely is the has to do with lifestyle. I know some people that are really healthy. They exercise, they eat healthy, they do a lot of things, right? But one thing is like they're still stressed out at work, and they're like, why do I have these issues? And it's like we have to address them. And how do they manifest, or how do they show up in our health?
How does stress show up in our lives?
Yeah.
Well, many different things. I mean, high cortisol, right? Like that's like
stress is cortisol is the stress hormone.
Right. And so it can contribute to weight, higher weight gain or trouble losing weight.
Yeah.
Also mental health.
Yep.
Right. You just feel like you're going crazy all the time. And these are just things that I feel like we've experienced.
Yes.
Right. Or things like not being able to sleep well, not being able to just function, getting sick.
Yeah. Low immune system.
Yes, low immune system. And having, like, even for me too, sometimes it's hard being present.
Yeah. Let's go back to the stress hormone, cortisol, because there's no way around it. We're designed that way. It is a response to protect ourselves, right? We need that. We need that fight or flight response, the sympathetic nervous system. But elevated cortisol over long periods of time can just send the wrong signals to your body. So when you're in fight or flight mode, you need that. But if your body is constantly in fight or flight mode, then it could start fighting itself. And that's where we get a lot of autoimmune challenges. And we start to get, things start to break down when our body is just focusing on just not in the rest and recovery mode. And so I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Doctors couldn't figure out. When I was in the hospital, my liver function was failing. I was fighting multiple threats. My immune system was down. Could be attributed to that high stress from before. And my body was handling that, the stress and everything. And it just showed up with my liver not working well.
Right.
And later on, we couldn't figure out a cause. They tested for so many different viruses and pathogens. Even afterwards, the recovery, it took a while. And it's just like, in Western medicine, we don't really go like, we go, what did you eat? Let's test for pathogens, but we don't really go like, oh, how's your work-life balance?
Yeah.
And I'm not against hard work. My grandparents were farmers. That's hard work, but their lifestyle is different. There is a time for rest, and sometimes even today, it's not even work that's causing us to stress. Like, we are overstimulated with social media, binge watching movies, entertainment, all the lights. And there's a whole other topic on sleep, but just stress, worrying about bills, right? Is just the industrial lifestyle that came after the Industrial Revolution.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so what are some of the ways that, we today are trying to combat those things?
Yeah. Well, number one, which we'll talk more later on, is sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep is your rest and recovery, but it's hard to sleep when you don't have when you have elevated cortisol. Yeah. But once you get that into the routine, that is a huge part. How about you?
For me, it's just having intentional time.
Yeah.
Just to say, you know what, yes, I have to get my checklist done, but is it really that important right now? Is cleaning the kitchen, that does stress me out. Does cleaning the kitchen override my body when I feel tired and when I feel a little burned out? Is it okay to do it in a couple hours or the next day?
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, we can just keep going back and forth. Intentional rest is another one. Vacation. Cassy mentioned that. Like, take a break. Take a vacation.
Not just a vacation though. Like, if you say vacation, because there's two types of people, right?
That's true.
So usually when, like, I used to travel, and I can still be like this today, especially when going to a new area or an area that I know I really love, or I'm showing someone around for the first time. It's like, we have to pack it in.
Yes.
Like, we have to do all the things. And that's still very stressful, even though you're not working, you're not in school, like, you're away from your normal responsibilities, like the day-to-day responsibilities, but you're still going, and like, you're still like on autopilot. You're still doing like things like that, or the whole other side of that, right?
How many of you have ever went on a vacation and felt more you needed a vacation from that vacation? And that brings up a good point. Even work, because people are like, I don't want to stop working. I enjoy work. Well, there's, you think that's good stress and bad stress. Bad stress is the one where you're like angry. Good stress is like you're excited. Well, guess what? Your body interprets that stress as the same. Stress is stress to the body. And so really intentional rest or practicing Sabbath is more than rest. It's spending time with God, right? And so us practitioners of, Sabbath, we just take a day of the week, historically it was on Saturday, Sabbath day. But a lot of people do Sundays. Some people that work at the church work on Sundays, so they choose a different day. And so having that, having a holy day to spend with God is definitely not only spiritual, but it is also physical.
Yeah, and there's something to that because, right, like when we go back to Genesis and it's like God created the world, right? He created everything, and he did 6 days and he rested on the seventh. So he intended for us to rest, and he modeled that so well.
Yes.
And so,
God doesn't need rest.
He
chose to rest.
Yeah. And we have to make that conscious decision too. And so, sometimes for us, it's saying no and standing firm on that, unless it's like an emergency situation where we're like, no, we have to be there. Yeah. But for the most part, it's like, no, like this is our day of rest to spend recovering and just being intentional with the Lord.
Yeah, absolutely. What is another thing that we can do to reduce cortisol levels? Diffusing oils. There's a lot of studies. You can go on Google Scholar, PubMed, just plug in cortisol essential oils or a specific plant like lavender or orange or lemon or bergamot. Aromatherapy is huge. It's huge, and it responds really fast, and they have studies of it reducing cortisol levels. There's oils. If you don't have oils yet, there's breathing. Breathing is a huge thing to reduce stress. So what people notice is when they're having anxious feelings or stress, they breathe shallowly. Yeah. And breathing just helps get the oxygen to the brain. If you want to enhance that, oils can enhance that, open up the airways too, to make it a more pleasant experience, eucalyptus, peppermint, or we have a blend called Breathe that does that.
Yeah, and I think especially combining that with like also reading your Bible, reading your word, just even if it's just like one chapter,
Yes.
you know, or just one passage, something that really resonates with you, that is kind of that verse that grounds you.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that is a huge part of just being able to calm down as well. Prayer.
Yeah.
You know, talking to the Lord.
Yeah. I mean, casting, you know, Jesus says, cast all your burdens, right? You know, Jesus is right there beside you. It's not just cast your burdens. We went over this verse the other day.
Yeah.
Is really sharing that yoke. And when you picture a yoke with oxen, you're not just giving the load to oxen. It's there's another ox there that is sharing that load. And that's what Jesus says, right? Another thing, well, what are some other things? Well, praise and worship.
Yes, your music, the type of music you listen to.
I mean, there's positive music, and there's also praise and worship. And praise and worship is not about us feeling good. It does make us feel good, but it keeps our eyes off ourselves and towards God.
Yeah, or the situations that are going around.
Yeah,
you know?
Because all we can do is just thank God.
Yeah.
Which leads us to just living in gratitude, and contentment. Contentment sometimes triggers some things, but gratitude leads to contentment. And if you are counting your blessings in prayer and praise and worship, you start to not focus on the things that you lack, and it allows you to move forward.
Oh yeah, of course.
Another thing with stress is, you know, maybe we got to reset our lifestyle.
Yeah.
I know financial stress is a huge one. And the matter of the question is, and it could be both. It could be, is it a matter of income, or is it a matter of expenses, or is it a matter of both? But what I found a lot of times, especially here in the US, if you are having an income, it's a matter of expenses. And that has to do with gratitude, contentment, and just spending, right? Bills and debt and a lot of things are financially stressful. We were there.
Yeah, we've gone through it.
And not having debt is just, you are no longer a slave or under bondage.
Right.
What else about, what would you say about finances and stress? How, because that's a real thing. That's another thing to people are, I don't know. I think we really had to get to a point where it was like the things that we thought that mattered no longer mattered. Yeah. And we experienced that when we experienced a drop in income. For some reason, it came to that point where it's like, wow, all of these things I was chasing after, they weren't important.
Yeah. And I think it's really coming to that realization, like if we didn't have our relationship with God, it would be so, like, I don't even know. I don't even want to think about what would happen and where we would be. But I think just having that firm foundation with Christ, and I think having a certain group of friends that like has gone through that before us, or, you know, just encouraging us in that time. But it is stressful that, you know, especially if you have a family too. I mean, it's just right now, it's you and I.
Yep.
And so it's, you know, we will do what we have to do to get by, and then to, you know, start building that again. But yeah, but little things, like for so long we were like, oh, we need a new couch. Well, do we really need a new couch? No, our couch is fine. And people have come over and they're like, why do you need a new couch?
Yep.
You know? And it's like, well, because I wanted to look better, or I want a bigger couch. And that's materialistic.
Yes.
Like having a new couch doesn't further the kingdom of God.
Yes.
It doesn't do anything for it could.
It could.
But right now, like, it's not.
It's all on our convictions.
Yes. Yes.
And is God calling us for
right.
that? And if we don't have the resources, definitely that is not a wise way to steward our money.
Right. And I think that as we've realized that we don't actually need certain things, like I would say, like, we prioritize food. Like we would rather spend money to feed our small group family.
Yep.
And funnel funds that way.
Yeah.
Versus like, okay, well, couch
Yeah.
or backyard, it's like prioritizing what is most important, praying through that.
Yep.
And allowing the Holy Spirit to convict us in all of that, and just the open hands, like really surrendering to God.
Yeah. That's a whole other topic on finances.
Yeah.
Going back to stress.
Yes.
a lot of things, and it goes back to circumstances, because sometimes there are circumstances out of control.
Yeah.
Disease, loved ones going through something, grieving through loss. This is where faith really comes in, right? None of us are promised an easy life, but we are promised that if you know Christ, that God will be with you throughout those times. And the Bible talks about having a peace beyond understanding, and that's experiential, to help with that. Recently, it's interesting because when people from the outside is like, oh, how did you do that? Your brother was in the hospital. Your sister just experienced a house fire. I was like, number one, that we didn't go through that. But number two, out of humility, is like, yeah, it would be different if we didn't have a relationship with Jesus Christ. What else about... I mean, we didn't really go into... Usually we do a whole class on cortisol and lavender and breathing exercises.
Well, what are your favorite, like your top... What would you say is your top 3 essential oils or blends that you use to help when you feel stressed?
My favorite... They're all blends. Okay. doTERRA blends. So first doTERRA blend would be adaptive. This was designed for all moods. And so you don't have to feel anxious. It also helps when you're feeling down. It's just a go-to. They've done a lot of studies on that. And we actually also have supplements that have other herbal ingredients that also help with those types of feelings. So adaptive. There's also, I randomly choose different citrus blends. Motivate is one. And it has citrus bliss. So they all have citrus oils. They have maybe they have vanilla and some other blends. And it has a more depth than just using a citrus oil. Very uplifting. And that when you feel uplifted, your stress kind of melts away. And in the early days, and maybe I should do it more often now, there's an oil called Melissa, which is lemon balm. And it's a very special oil. It takes a lot of plant material. This small bottle is probably one of the more valuable or more expensive oils. And there's just something in it that just calms down. When I used to be emotionally dysregulated, that's the proper term I learned. I think that was my first experience. My family knew, my father knows that, like, hey, I was skeptic, and he was the one that actually recommended. I was like, there's no way it would calm me down. I'll try it just to prove him wrong. And I would say within 5 or 10 minutes, I noticed that my feelings would subside just by having a Melissa under my upper lip. And so that is a special oil. Some people say lemongrass is the same, but it's not. It's not. And so those are 3. How about you?
My top 3, I'd probably say I definitely love something with a citrus. So either probably Citrus Bliss is probably a blend that I really like. Also, I like the more woodsy, like the deep feeling oils. So for me, I like a lot of blends just because it's, I don't know, to me, it's like more like a candle versus like, oh, here's just lavender or here's just lemon, So Northern Escape is another one of my go-tos. And then Shinrin Yoku is probably my 3rd favorite oil blend. Yeah.
We didn't talk about like the ultimate thing for stress and rest and digest and bringing your body back into balance and reset. And you probably know after mentioning it.
I know. And I was thinking about it throughout this talk because it's a whole nother topic in itself.
Yeah, but we'll touch upon it. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Is the aroma touch technique. Probably because it's not an easy put it in the diffuser and go.
Right. You do need a partner to apply the oils to you. So like in a massage type of situation scenario.
So, basically, like Cassy would go on a table, massage table. We have one. I would layer 8 different oils. And there is a way to layer it on her back. We also work on her ears, on her feet. We also stimulate the lymphatic system. But with those 8 oils, basically, it's to first 2 oils, balance and lavender, reduces stress. Second set of oil is to support your immune system, tea tree and on guard. Stress. The whole thing about stress is stress leads to inflammation. Inflammation leads to a whole slew of other issues. So third set of oils, Deep Blue and Aroma Touch, help address some inflammation. And then we have Wild Orange and Peppermint, which just kind of finishes it off. And the whole point of that is to promote homeostasis or the parasympathetic, which is rest and digest. So,
yeah. So I think maybe we can talk about that, and we'll talk about that definitely in a whole nother episode. And it is one of those things that does help with a lot of stuff. And like Holan said, it's not like, it's just not one thing, but that inflammation because caused by stress is huge. And I personally, I feel that.
Yeah. I will say your environment makes a big difference. I get overstimulated, so I'm minimalish. This is our only room that has all this, but if you look around our house, just having I never wanted to leave my home for a vacation. Like, my home is my sanctuary. I would like it to be as comfortable or more than going out to a hotel. And there's a lot of things, lights are also important. Certain temperature, what they call the lights, if it leans more to blue and white, that is good for keeping you alert and up, but alert and up for a period of time can cause you to be more anxious and to be more irritable. When the temperature is more towards red and orange, that is more calming. And if you think about it, in the old days, we didn't have light bulbs. We had sunlight, which is very bright, and we have candlelight. And even the lights that we have is not even that dark of an orange or red. You can get them. Actually, our bedrooms, if you dim it all the way, it tries to be as close to candlelight as much as possible. So that's just a bonus tidbit on stress.
Yeah. So we'll wrap it up here. And there's so much more we can say. And, I think we'll have to do a deep dive into it. But let us know what you guys do to help de-stress your life daily or weekly, monthly. And we'd love to read your comments. So we'll see you next time. Bye.